I think we are live. Let's double check here. But I believe we are live.
Yep, there we go.
Awesome. So, hello everybody. Welcome to another Mental Health Matters Quarantine Cafe. I am Sarah Foster.
Portland Turrentine.
And we are Mental Health Matters. And today we have a very, very special guest. We have Stephanie Lowe with us. Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be
Thanks so
here.
much for joining us. We're so excited to talk to you today. So Stephanie, I wonder if you would just start off and tell us about your business and what it is you do.
Sure. You know what, and even to come up with the concept took me a while to find a way to successfully merge all of the pieces together. So health, wealth, and real estate is all about, I want to say it's all about self-development. It's all about being the very, very best version of yourself and being able to succeed in all areas of your life. So health, and through the health facet, we're talking about, you'll see me talk about like veggie life and eating well and nutrition, drinking waters, using nature and the natural elements and stuff like that to help to give you more energy and vitality. We talk about exercise. So frequently I'll hold workshops with yoga and again, various things, vision board workshops, a lot about like mindset and healthy, right? That whole piece. And then within the last few years, I added in the financial piece. So that's where I do real estate and I work with people to invest and build their portfolio for generational wealth and financial freedom.
And can you tell us a little bit about how you even initially got into this sort of merger of industries?
Sure. It was very interesting because a lot of people held the mindset that, you know, those who love to walk around barefoot in the grass and practice yoga are not interested in, you know, maybe some of the materialistic kind of stigmas or whatever that people have with wealth. And then the idea was, well, you know, if you're in a business suit and you're working 80 hours a week, then you don't really care so much to exercise and do these things. And I ran with a lot of people that really felt that that was true, but I said, hey, I'm that person. I love to walk around barefoot, wear my yoga pants, meditate, and burn my incense. Like, that's me. But at the same time, I really understand the importance of being financially free and being financially responsible and financially literate. And I think we'll get into more of that, you know, throughout our discussion today. But I just found that was another piece. There's a lot of distress in the financial when, you know, talk about breakdown of relationships, stress in the home and whatnot. And I found that financial piece was really important in tying it all together.
Yeah. So can you say a little bit more about that? Share a little bit more about how the financial wellness ties into just overall, I mean, certainly mental wellness, but overall emotional wellness and health.
For sure. I found through my background in health, okay, with rehabilitation and fitness and seeing the transformations that people had, I found oftentimes it came down to mindset. Like, did they believe that they could achieve the goals that they wanted? Did they believe that they were going to get better? You know, did they have that faith? And when it came into the financial side of things, I saw that people want to be wealthy and free. You know, you want to, whatever it is, from the small things of having the comforts and confidence to know that you can pay your rent and your light bill, to having the confidence and freedom to be able to take a week off work and do a wellness retreat, to have that freedom to really live the life that you want. And again, I found the connection was in the mindset. Do you believe that you're worthy of having that freedom? Do you believe that you can attain that freedom? And that's really where I observed that in both facets. And I thought, wow, this is so so important. This is so impactful, that if I feel like my mission is to help people be happy and whole and free, then, there's another piece to the puzzle that's kind of missing that we need to address. And we need to address it in a holistic facet, because you surely can go burn yourself out, work all hours to attain money, and at the end of the day you're still not going to be happy and fulfilled. So we need to go after those goals with a pure heart and a pure mind, and you really can create that freedom and holistic, happy, healthy life that you want. Finances is a big piece, and so that's how I kind of put it all together.
And when I've heard you speak on that piece in particular, that's when I really start to think about all the small business owners. So I serve on a council right now that is connecting with small business owners of color, particularly Black and Brown communities, and one of the things that we're working on right now is how do we help you salvage your business with everything that's gone on with COVID. So many businesses have shut down, and one of the things that I think everybody is communicating through the small business world is how stressed out everyone is about their finances, because this was just not what was planned.
Right.
It's an interruption in their goals, particularly those who just recently started their businesses right before the pandemic really went global. So finances and stress from the small business perspective, I think, is definitely a very real thing. I wonder what suggestions you have, because I mean, again, like your background in health, you've got physical background, you've got spiritual, you've got, I'm thinking about, well, not just financial, I'm thinking nutrition, like you have so many different areas of expertise. What are some suggestions that you have for, the small business owner who's like, I need to make money, but COVID. How do we sort of, like you said, like pursue that happiness and that peace? Like what are some tips for our mindset during this time?
Cool. That's a very loaded question. I'm going to try and hit on all the pieces, everything that's coming to mind, but it's awesome. It's awesome. So the first thing I would say is, like, to be successful at your goal, you have to be committed to it. You have to believe that you can achieve it. And you have to have those actionable steps to kind of get to where you're going, right? So for all of those who had a beautiful vision that came into your heart, something you've been working on, whatever it is, I would just say during this time of challenge, don't give up. Stay committed to that vision. And I think, especially with how the world has changed, and oftentimes people say it's not necessarily going back to where it was before, things have changed. So you need to search yourself, search your vision, open your heart, open your mind, take time to reflect and meditate on all of these things, and see maybe there's a little bit of a pivot or a shift, that you can use your business to serve and help, and, see how this can help you to grow, how you can take this challenge to grow. So stay committed, don't give up, and just kind of search that and seek that. It may take a little bit of a tweaking during this time, and that's okay, right? But stay your course. The other thing I would say is that, I say this all the time about keeping your cup full, right? Sometimes people say, oh, you're being selfish if you don't, compromise yourself to be able to help another person. But if you both are lying flat, face down, I'm struggling to try to help you, you're struggling to help me, we're not getting anywhere. So I would say that during this time, it has put a lot of stress, right? It has been very stressful, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. We're all, going through stuff at this time. So what I would say is to make sure that you are keeping your cup full in whichever aspect of your life, kind of pops up to you, you're moved to, right? So eat well. I remember when we were on on the lockdown, I did a little video, and I had help from family and inspiration to help me like get my little garden going. And I was talking to people like, what are your COVID projects? What are you doing? I was sharing videos about little natural, lemon waters and ginger and just, reaching out to those natural elements to see how you could boost your immune system and stay strong during all these stresses, right? So that's a huge piece. Again, maybe it's exercising. You haven't had the opportunity to get out and be as active as usual. You don't want to be sore and lethargic and all that kind of stuff. So again, take that time to move, whether it be going for a walk or stretching in your basements or lifting some dumbbells or whatever, whatever it is to keep your energy up and to, again, just keep pouring into yourself. Take time, maybe even to create like a little morning routine. Again, if that's just sitting and reading a book or sitting and reading a text that's important to you, like the Bible, or, whatever it is that inspires you, taking time to, I'll say meditation. It's something I do almost every morning. And I kind of wrap it in with my prayers, is gratitude affirmations. And I'm just like, I am grateful that I have hands. I am grateful that I have breath. I am grateful that the sun is shining. I am grateful, big long list, even things that I'm grateful for that I want to manifest and see in my life. I want to see my business successful, right? So I'm grateful that my business is helping people during this COVID time. I'm grateful, whatever it is. And I think those are all different pieces that you can kind of tap into to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself on your track for success with your business. Absolutely. It's more than just whatever the daily tasks are in your business to check off and say you completed it, right? It's you as the business owner, you as the leader, making sure that you're strong and fulfilled in all areas so that you can complete that mission.
Yeah. So Stephanie, you shared with us a little bit about your meditation and some of the things that you do to pour into yourself. Can you tell us a little more about how you have poured into yourself during COVID and how that had, have you struggled as a business owner at all during COVID? And if so, what was that like? How did you recover, or what are some of those struggles still?
Sure. Okay. There was one challenge that I came up into, and I don't think I've fully resolved that as yet. So kind of as COVID was coming in, I was conducting a 6-week program with a colleague, and it was a healing circle, a yoga and healing circle. And so we were meeting up every couple of weeks to sit together, create community, discuss a topic, self-love, forgiveness, whatever, every week, and then doing some yoga and just tying in whatever the topic of the week was. And the shutdown kind of came in, and they were slowly cutting things out, and we're like, do we continue with our program or do we stop it? That was a big challenge. And because a lot of the workshops that I do are in person, I had to try to get comfortable in doing things like this, getting on to do webinars and figure out how to shift my business into something like this that I could still serve. And I guess during COVID, I'm just waiting for it to pass so that I can get back to really facilitating those workshops. I did host a few meditations. I did host, just invite people out, a couple days a week to just get together again and just do yoga over, something like Zoom and whatnot. So I did try to create some things. I talked about with a friend, again, collaborating and creating a 3-day workshop to do over Zoom. And I think a big hurdle was just getting over myself and my fears, like no one's going to come to a yoga webinar, or no one's, I really had to kind of bypass that. So that was a challenge. I'm still trying to come up with creative ways of reaching out, and some, again, something like this is perfect. So that was a little bit of a shift and a challenge. Your other question was, how did I take care of myself during this time?
Yeah. Like, how are you pouring into yourself? Like you talked about your meditation and prayer in your morning routine. What else do you do that helps pour into you and keeps you upbeat?
Sure. I joke and laugh with some of my friends that I brainwash myself daily, and that's kind of, the whole idea that you die to yourself daily, you recreate yourself daily. I feel like every single day I need to check in and say, things are good. These are the things that you're on your path to manifest. These are the things that you want to see in your life, and you're grateful that you have them. So those daily affirmations are just so important. Sometimes there's a little one I do that's maybe 10 minutes. and I don't know if this seems a little odd, but I will just sit or I'll just lay. I have a special room in my house where I normally do my yoga and fitness and prayers and that kind of thing. So I go to that room and I just lie or sit, and again, like I said, maybe 8 to 10 minutes, and I just say thank you, 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 like that's it. uh, and I find that in times of despair and in times of trial, and obviously when times are good, just focusing on gratitude really helps to give you that energy and that push that you need, right, to just keep going. And that's something I really do. I try not to focus on lack. I try not to focus on fears. We're human. Those thoughts are going to enter. But I really practice, and that's why I love meditation, because it's that practice, and yoga, that's that practice of being mindful and being present and being aware, so that if a thought enters, I can be like, Stephanie, put that aside. Focus on what you're grateful for. Focus on what you want to manifest, instead of complaining about, won't even say whatever, just something that came in. Instead of complaining about it or feeling ungrateful, just say, you know what? That's not the situation I want in my life. I'm grateful for whatever it is I'm seeking. So that is probably one of the most consistent things that I practice, and that has certainly got me through all of this challenging time. The other thing is really just, like I said, taking care of my physical self. So putting time aside to exercise and drink water and tea, and I use a lot of essential oils. People see how busy I am and how much I work, and they're like, Stephanie, what do you do for yourself? I'm like, honestly, today I took my essential oils, I massaged my locks, I drank some ginger tea, I, lit some incense and whatever, just thank God for today, and I think all those things are important. And it may be like, something I try to tell people as well is about balance. Like some people think balance means that every single day for 15 minutes you're doing this, your work schedule is here, and then you're exercising, and you're consistently doing that every single day. That's balance. But I had to, again, let go of that idea and say, you know what, there's going to be some days where I'm literally working 16 hours. And so all I can do today is my 8-minute thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and drink some water, right? And that's okay. I'm not being hard on myself. I'm understanding that there's a shift and there's a time and a season for all things. And so you have to be patient and gracious with yourself as well. And that's how I find my balance, right? I'll be awesome with my workouts and my food for 5 days, and one day, you know what, it's not the best day because I was on the road all day. But that's okay.
I think what you're saying is really important. We posted something maybe last week or the week before that we were debunking self-care myths, and this idea that it had to be expensive and it had to be something you spent a lot of time in. And so I love what you're suggesting in terms of like, what are those things that you can just say to yourself in between, right? Like what are the mantras you can repeat? What are the positive thoughts that you can repeat? Because that's so accessible, especially during COVID time, when the ability to leverage outside resources is just greatly inhibited.
Yeah, I along the same lines, I love the things you're talking about, Stephanie, that you do for yourself and how you take care of yourself is lighting incense and drinking tea.
Yeah.
Because again, people have this idea that it has to be, a spa day and facials and massages and all this stuff. And really it's not for me. It's lighting my candles and
but it's something that you talk about that I appreciate is that it's something that's done daily.
Yes.
And what's very evident to me, even just through our short time together, is how you have built resilience. So when Mental Health Matters talks about resilience, we talk about resilience isn't just about being able to get through a tough time. It's about getting through your tough time, but coming out on the other side stronger and even more equipped to handle the next challenge that comes.
Yeah.
And that is something that I hear, you saying as you are speaking, that it's, you have developed a daily practice of caring for yourself in such a way that you have built resilience so that when a pandemic comes, it's not that we're having a total breakdown. We're still finding ways to tap into a healthy mindset to keep going and to keep being encouraged, right? And to not be discouraged. Yeah. What are we not asking you that you would love to talk about?
Yes.
I I think a main thing is if I could drill anything would be like the importance of your mindset. And that importance of like how you talked about resilience and being I mean, I've learned over time, I just am kind of a happy, bubbly, optimistic person. And, I probably could consider that the negative a little bit more often than I do. But I think just that mindset is so important. And I've really found it, like I said, a foundation and a key to success. And so I would really encourage people to find ways of exploring and challenging your thoughts, exploring and challenging your perceptions, your ideals, things that you think have to be, most of the time aren't, those heavy burdens that you put on yourself, let go of them, be a little bit more easy, be a little bit more kind. It's really delving into that world of mindset and seeing where there's room for shifts. And I kind of find as you start to get into it, you start to study and learn and take on piece by piece, what's a good way to say this? There's a book that I love, The Alchemist. It's kind of like when you have a vision or you have a goal, like the whole universe conspires to help it to come to be. So what I would say is
wait, pause. Just repeat that line.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Yeah, when you have a goal, when you have a vision, the whole universe conspires with you to see that come to pass, to see that come to be. And so I would say if you want to see more success, more happiness, more fulfillment, more freedom in all areas of your life, commit to that. This is something I really want, and put in that time to study and learn and educate yourself, and like I said, challenge some of those ideals, and you'll just start coming into pieces, and your eyes will start to open a little bit more. And that's what I would want to share. I just encourage people to kind of get on that road, get on that path, and you really are the creator of your life. It's so amazing. Something kind of cool, I guess I could share is, I don't know how much you guys have read into this or seen about it, but I have something called a gratitude journal. And sometimes people call them like manifestation letters or whatever it is. But I wrote it kind of like a vision board. I do those pretty much once a year at least. And sometimes I have some for business and, different relationships and health and whatever it is. But this manifestation journal for me targeted a number of different areas in my life. Physical, like I said, emotional, business, financial, whatever. And I just wrote it. And I get so excited whenever I go through it and I read it, right? And that's the whole idea. You want to write down things that are just you're passionate about, and things that you're so grateful for. And I really found that this also created a really big shift in my life. Within weeks, I just started seeing some of those things that I wrote down start to pop up in my life, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's something I wrote. That's something I didn't think it would happen so quickly. But that's something I would also kind of encourage people to get into doing too. It's really, really cool. Just again, it's like identifying those visions, being specific and being grateful, having faith and being grateful, and just doing your part to see those things happen, and it will come to be. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love listening to you talk, Stephanie.
I feel like I needed to hear this morning.
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to be watching this and they're going to be thinking, oh, well, that's easy for her to say. Her life is just perfect and she's probably never had problems in her life.
Fancy wallpaper.
No. First of all, this fancy wallpaper was very hard to put up. But it was that whole idea, again, of mindset. There's, like I said, I have a prayer room in my house. I'm very specific about the things that I have around me, right? I want to be, if I'm saying I want to live an opulent, financially free kind of lifestyle, then when I come home, I need to see things that make me feel like I'm on that path and I've attained the things that I want, right? So if it's peace and, peace of mind that I want to have in my house, then I have those spaces and things that when I look at stimulate the thought in me and the feeling in me that, oh my gosh, like I'm living the life that I want. And I am peaceful. I am successful. I am whole. I am, so, so that's just one thing. Yes. I'm, like I said, it's a constant brainwash in all different areas. And guys, I think, there was some time ago, I got in a really bad car accident, and I found that was like, it was a while ago, and I it was when I had my fitness center, so I wasn't able to teach for a while, and so I was in pain, and it was very straining financially, and obviously the most excruciating physical pain that I've had, and that kind of affected some of my personal relationships, and I really felt like my world was falling apart, and I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like God had forsaken me in this situation. But what I had to come to really accept and realize that life is going to be filled with challenges. You're going to come up on hard times. There are going to be hills and there are going to be valleys. And I think when you can start to just realize that those ups and downs are part of life, those times when you feel like you're down don't have to kind of be the end for you. You know what I mean? You can realize that this is a time and season where I'm low, and what can I learn during this low time? Maybe it's more time away, right? You're afraid you've lost your job during COVID, and now you're home. Okay, that can be perceived as a really bad thing, right? It can be challenging financially, et cetera, et cetera. But you can also try to find the good in that valley and say, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to start taking, going on YouTube and studying some healthy recipes. This can be a time for me to start meditating and praying and starting my gratitude journal. And, so it's creating more space for you. In those tough times, try to look for the opportunities for growth, because they're going to come. They come. It is just a fact of life. And if you get caught up in those down places and don't create that space for growth to rebound, you can get stuck there in a dark circle for a very, very long time, right? And I think everybody can kind of relate to what that feels like. So no, my life isn't shiny and perfect all the time. Sometimes it's amazing, and most of the time it's amazing. My life is amazing, but there's certainly times where it's real, and there's just stuff you got to deal with. But I really, when I'm in those challenging spaces, COVID hit, that obviously for everybody, I'm like, okay, I need to make a shift. So how can I grow from this experience? And it's, again, that approach of gratitude and faith and just saying, thank you, God, for this new challenge. What do you want me to learn here? Because I don't want to stay here for too long. So how do we keep it moving? Yeah.
You said that you are naturally a bubbly, optimistic, cheerful, I think I tease you sometimes, kumbaya kind of.
Totally.
But I think, at least for me today, I'm really appreciating the gift in that, because I don't know if you feel the same way, Sarah, but what I have found recently is there has been so much negative talk. Like, this pandemic has really pushed people. I mean, we were already dealing with poverty and human trafficking and domestic violence and racism and brutality, and like, we were already dealing with all these things, and then on top of that, one of our biggest protective factors, steady income and social interaction, was taken away from us in some ways, and it's been really I would say, just looking at sort of my colleagues and my community, it's been really, really depressing just seeing everyone struggling to find a glimmer of something positive. And so for you to share how you are, I love the language that you use of brainwashing, of how you are being very intentional about looking for those moments of positivity. And I think some people might feel like it's silly to say, oh yeah, I'm so grateful I have hands today. But what I hear you saying is like, no, like, over time, as you continue to repeat these things to yourself, it really can begin to affect your mindset in a way that's healthy. And I think that's something that we all need to I think that's something that we need to hear. I
Absolutely.
think we've been hearing about how hard it is for so long during the course of this year, and how awful and how terrible things are. We have not had very many people tell us,
practice gratitude.
Yeah, we've not had a lot of people sharing encouraging words and
Right.
and positivity, and so I am really I'm really grateful and appreciative of it today.
Same. Yeah. And I also appreciate, Stephanie, that you shared, you know, that you noticed these things changing your mindset and changing your life in a matter of weeks. Like how powerful that positivity and that intentional gratitude is, and setting aside that time every day to say thank you.
Yeah, it's huge. Even the other day was really cool. And sometimes you hear stories of, this is a financial one, yeah? Sometimes you hear stories of people just turning things around. And I have something like a project that I'm working on, and I need to take the next steps. So I'm talking to somebody. I'm like, you know what? Can you please just go ahead, just make a call to that person, and let's just, what do I need to do to get the ball rolling? And they're like, oh, but you have to have such and such amount of money. Where are you getting that money from? And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, God is the God who makes ways, opens doors. He's a way maker. Like, I'm like, you know what? Right now, I don't have it. I honestly do not have it. And I don't know where it's coming from. And I have like a kind of like a commission statement, or whatever. I can see when things are coming in. And I'm like, nope, nothing for the next, 4 weeks. 4 weeks. I really don't know where this is coming from. But you know what? I'm like, just go ahead and make the call. And I believe that something's going to pop up. And the next day, I opened my email and I got an email from basically like another brokerage or whatever, saying that they had a check ready for me to pick up, which was enough money that I needed. I was like, oh, I've heard about this, but I've heard about this happening. It's never quite happened to me, but I was like, okay. I almost doubted myself in saying that, this is going to happen, but I'm like, no, I believe something's going to happen, and it did. And that was really, really, really cool. And I'm telling you again, just honestly, truly, 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 that place of gratitude and faith, and taking action on that faith that you have, manifests. It grows, it flows. These things happen, and you just understand. One of my favorite little affirmations is like, I am aligned with whatever. I'm aligned with the energy of vitality. I'm aligned with the energy of money. I am aligned with the energy of creativity. Like, I am in flow. I am in flow with all that consciousness. That's the kind of stuff that when I surround my surroundings at home and work and friends and people I talk to and things I listen to, that is what I try to surround myself with. I'm in a flow with all those things, right? And it's all going to come. It's all going to happen in the perfect time. And it's not always in my time. It's not always in my understanding. I don't always know, like, I just don't even know how things are going to work out, but I believe that this mission that I have and whatever I'm on is going to come to pass. So let's go.
So for anybody who's watching and is sort of wondering, like me, like where we can purchase your book, what are some, so, obviously, and we mentioned this in the description. I don't know that we've actually said it live here today, but we're actually dialing in and chatting with you from your and we're streaming in from Indiana, and we have people that are watching from different parts of the country, probably internationally also. For anybody that wanted to, for anybody that wants to hear more from you, that wants to hear more of what you have to say, wants to learn more from you, better understand your mission of health, wealth, and real estate, what are some ways that people can follow you or get plugged in?
Cool. So I'm on Instagram, fitness with Stepha. And so that's being spiritually fit, financially fit, physically fit, fitness with Stepha. I am on Facebook. I'm on Facebook as Steph Lowe, and you'll see me posting. That's where I post between Instagram and Facebook is where I post up when I'm on shows and having conversations such as here today. When I am having special workshops, I have been working to put on some international stuff. Again, when COVID passes, we'll be able to get into those lovely, I was trying to look at creating something in Bali. So I believe all these things will come to pass in perfect timing. Yeah.
I believe that we were meant to do that journey with you.
Thank you.
That sounds like something to be a part of.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. So I would say that's the best way. I'm very, very active on social media, and I'm sharing information all the time. from a cool new yoga pose, a new recipe, to a new investment opportunity, to buy and own land in Jamaica, wherever it is, right? So I would say that's the best way. Fitness with Stepha on Instagram, or Steph Lowe on Facebook.
And for any future virtual conferences, people can find that information following your Facebook and Instagram as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here and just bringing a ray of sunshine. It is cloudy here today. We were feeling it this morning, and I feel much more uplifted than I did before we started.
It is cloudy and rainy, and this was such a ray of sunshine. Like you said, this is so great.
I think this is something that's really going to encourage a lot of, encourage a lot of small business owners as they think about their own mental wellness and moving forward in times that are very uncertain. I do know that one of the things that I talked about with some other business owners is it's so hard to think about. Yes, we have to pivot, and it's hard to think about pivoting because we don't have any data to rely on for what to look for in the future. It used to be we could pull up market research, we could pull up trends, and kind of guesstimate, make an educated guess about, what direction we should go.
Right.
But now that there's a global pandemic, we don't have data for the new normal. And so
it's just trial and error.
So I think a lot of what you're sharing today about mindset and positivity and mantras and meditation, I think a lot of that is really going to be beneficial and important for us as we move forward as business owners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Thank you so
Stephanie,
much.
Thank you. We are incredibly grateful for you today.
Thank you so much. I was going to say, I'm grateful to you guys. I was going to say that just for creating this platform to be able to be a voice and a light to so many people who need it and need that inspiration and knowledge and education. So thank you so much for having me today. And again, just doing what you do. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Well, for everybody watching, this has been another Quarantine Cafe. They happen every Tuesday and Thursday, generally starting at about 1 p.m. And go usually 30 minutes, sometimes a little more. That happens. We're willing to be flexible in that area. But you can tune in live on Facebook at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next Tuesday, I am Coraline Turrentine.
Wait, is this Thursday?
Until next Tuesday. Yeah, today is Thursday.
I'm Sarah Foster.
Coraline Turrentine. And this has been Mental Health Matters Quarantine Cafe.
Have a good weekend, you guys.